What's the craziest thing that has happened to you live on stage? Okay, so we had 10 dancers with me.
Reba McEntire built her legendary career on the same stage that defined country music, the Grand Ole Opry. It was there she proved her worth, earned the respect of her peers, and stood alongside the idols she grew up worshipping. But the closer she got to that inner circle, the more complicated her life became. Moments that should have been celebrations were often clouded by tension, awkward friendships, and even public protests. Behind the vibrant personality and the millions of records sold, Reba's rise was surrounded by heartbreaking stories that most fans never heard. From Oklahoma roots to Nashville struggles. Long before she was a household name, Reba's story began in Oklahoma. Music was a family affair. She performed with her siblings, Paik and Susie, as the Singing McEntires. They sang at rodeos and local gatherings, even recording a single in 1971 about their grandfather. At the time, Reba wasn't looking for stardom. She was at Southeastern Oklahoma State University training to be a teacher. Everything changed in 1974. Her father encouraged her to sing the national anthem at the National Finals Rodeo in Oklahoma City. In the audience that night was country singer Red Steagall. Impressed by her raw talent, he helped her record a demo in Nashville. By November 1975, she signed with Mercury Records. However, the overnight success was a myth. Her early singles flopped, and her debut album barely made a dent on the charts. It wasn't until 1982 that she scored her first #1 hit, Can't Even Get the Blues. Even then, she felt stifled. In 1984, she took a massive risk by moving to MCA Records to reclaim her traditional country sound. The resulting album, My Kind of Country, became her definitive turning point. The Opry induction and the legend who walked out. In January 1986, Reba received the ultimate honor, an invitation to join the Grand Ole Opry. For Reba, it meant she had finally arrived. But the induction night, intended to be her crowning achievement, was marred by a clash between the past and the future. Hank Snow, a pillar of traditional country music, was scheduled to perform his signature hit, I'm Moving On, during the same 60th anniversary broadcast. Because the show was televised nationally, producers were under strict time constraints. To make room for Reba's induction, they asked Snow to cut his performance down to just one verse. To a legend like Snow, this was an insult to his legacy and the traditions of the Opry. Instead of complying, Snow withdrew from the broadcast entirely and walked out of the building in protest. Reba was caught in the middle of a generational shift she never asked to lead. Though she deeply respected Snow, her very presence that night became a symbol of the new Nashville pushing out the old guard. A betrayal of friendship, the Kenny Rogers tension. By the early 90s, Reba and Kenny Rogers were close friends. When tragedy struck Reba's life in 1991, a devastating plane crash that killed 8 members of her band and her tour manager, it was Kenny who helped pull her out of the darkness. He cast her in his TV movie, The Gambler Returns, giving her a reason to keep working when she felt like giving up. Their bond was supposed to be cemented by a duet called The Heart Won't Lie. They went into the studio together, but they hit a technical wall. Their vocal ranges simply didn't match. No matter the key, one of them sounded uncomfortable. The project stalled, but Reba couldn't let the song go. She eventually recorded it with Vince Gill. In the rush to finish her album and stay on schedule, Reba made a critical mistake. She never told Kenny she was moving forward with someone else. Kenny found out the same way the rest of the world did when the song hit #1. The two finally faced off at the CMA Awards, where Kenny publicly confronted her. While he eventually accepted her apology, the sting of that perceived betrayal lingered for years. The ghost of Patsy Cline. Perhaps the most eerie chapter of Reba's career is her connection to Patsy Cline, a woman she never met. Reba grew up idolizing Patsy, often closing her shows with Patsy's hit Sweet Dreams performed a cappella. The parallels are haunting. In 1963, Patsy Cline recorded Sweet Dreams shortly before dying in a plane crash. 28 years later, on a foggy night in San Diego in March 1991, Reba ended her concert with that very same song. While she stayed behind to rest, her band took off in a private plane that crashed into a mountain just minutes later. The coincidence was too much to bear. Reba stopped singing Sweet Dreams for nearly 30 years. The song that had linked her to her idol now served as a painful reminder of the friends she lost. It wasn't until decades later that she could bring herself to perform it again, turning a cursed song into a final tribute to both Patsy and her lost crew. Rivalries and rumors, the Dolly Parton factor. Even with icons like Dolly Parton, Reba's path wasn't always smooth. Their first encounter at the Opry in 1977 involved Reba's set being cut short because Dolly arrived as a surprise guest. While Reba handled it with grace, rumors of a Cold War between the two queens of country persisted for decades. Much of this stemmed from their mutual closeness to Kenny Rogers. Reports from the set of Kenny's 2021 tribute concert suggested a thick atmosphere backstage, with both women being overly careful around one another. While neither has ever confirmed a feud, the pressure of being the top women in a competitive industry created an inevitable, unspoken tension. The 4-day video feud with Vince Gill. Even her successful partnership with Vince Gill had its breaking point. While their voices blended perfectly, their work ethics clashed during the filming of the music video for The Heart Won't Lie. Reba loved high-production, cinematic videos. Vince, however, hated the lights and cameras aspect of the business. The shoot lasted 4 grueling days, involving military costumes and elaborate sets. By the end, Vince's patience was gone. Reba later admitted that the only person who didn't enjoy the song's success was Vince, simply because of the nightmare of the video shoot. She even promised him he'd never have to do a long-form video with her again. Conclusion. Reba McEntire's journey is a testament to resilience, but it is also a reminder that the spotlight often casts long, dark shadows. From walking in on legends protesting her arrival to the haunting echoes of a plane crash, her rise was never as easy as it looked. If you found this deep dive into country music history fascinating, make sure to stay tuned to Prestige Buzz. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Prestige Buzz channel, and hit that bell notification so you never miss an untold story of your favorite legends. Click the next video on your screen to keep watching.